2 years before retirement, David and Elena thought they had answered the hardest question. Their spreadsheet said they could stop working. Then they tried living on their projected retirement budget for 1 month. The roof needed attention. Healthcare costs were higher than expected. And the travel budget they had quietly imagined was nowhere in the plan. Nothing had gone wrong. They had simply found the gaps early enough to do something about them. That is why I believe retirement should be rehearsed, not merely projected. Hi, I'm Marco Lima, and welcome to the Build Enduring Wealth podcast. If you've ever wondered whether you're making the right financial decisions for retirement, your family, or your future, you're in the right place. Each week, we'll tackle the topics that matter most, from investing and retirement planning to taxes, estate planning, and the economy, so you can move forward with greater clarity and confidence. Today, we're going to make retirement practical. A projection tells you what might happen. A rehearsal tells you what needs fixing while you still have time to fix it. We'll look at your spending, your future paycheck, and the life you're preparing to live. Start with the part most people think they already know. What retirement will cost. Look at the last 12 months, not just a typical month. A typical month can hide the property tax bill, the insurance renewal, the car repair, or the family trip that arrives every year like clockwork. Put each expense into one of three simple buckets. What must be paid, what can move up or down, and what happens occasionally but still needs to be funded. Housing, food, utilities, insurance, transportation, and healthcare may belong in the first group. Dining out, travel, hobbies, gifts, or support for family may be more flexible. Then there are the expenses that do not politely appear on a monthly spreadsheet: home maintenance, annual premiums, taxes, and major replacements. For David and Elena, the first version of their plan assumed about $6,000 a month. That number covered their regular bills and included some travel. But when they looked more closely, they found a hypothetical $9,000 roof replacement on the horizon, about $3,000 a year in insurance and property-related costs, and a much larger travel budget for their first few years of freedom. Those figures are illustrative, not a recommendation. The point is the discovery. The question changed from, does the spreadsheet say yes, to, does this reflect the way we actually want to live? That is a much better planning question. And finding a gap is not a failure. Finding it before retirement is progress. They could save longer, adjust the timing, revise the travel plan, or set aside money for irregular costs. This is important to focus on. A rehearsal is an educational stress test, not a guarantee that the future will follow your spreadsheet. Takeaway number 1 is simple. Use your actual spending history, add healthcare, taxes, annual costs, and likely changes in lifestyle, then circle the assumptions you are least certain about. Those are the places where a conversation with a qualified professional can add real value. Once David and Elena knew what retirement might cost, they faced a more practical problem. How would the money actually arrive each month? While you're working, the system is mostly invisible. A paycheck lands in checking, bills are paid, some money goes to savings. In retirement, income may come from several sources and the timing matters. The annual total can look fine, while the monthly experience feels confusing. So create a simulated retirement paycheck. Estimate the amount you expect to use for regular spending and move that amount into checking on the same schedule you might use later. Keep the exercise simple. You are not trying to predict the market or copy a particular withdrawal formula. You are trying to make the future cash flow visible. For 3 months, let that simulated paycheck arrive on the same day each month. If the money runs out on the 23rd, do not call the plan a failure. Ask what the calendar and the cash flow just taught you. Maybe an annual bill was missing. Maybe the grocery estimate was too low. Maybe the system has too many moving parts. David and Elena discovered that their projected income looked adequate on an annual basis, but the monthly process was not clear. They have not decided which accounts would support regular expenses, how larger bills would be handled, or what questions to ask about taxes and changing market conditions. The rehearsal gave them a list of decisions instead of a vague feeling of unease. The best income strategy is not merely one that works in a spreadsheet. It is one you understand well enough to follow when markets are unsettled and life becomes complicated. Coordinate the details with your broader financial plan and with appropriate tax professionals. Avoid building the entire strategy around guessing what markets will do next. There is another part of retirement that no account statement can answer. What is Tuesday morning for? Work provides more than income. It provides structure, identity, challenge, and regular contact with other people. When that structure disappears, even a financially sound retirement can feel incomplete. So rehearse the rhythm too. Picture an ordinary Tuesday 6 months from now. When do you wake up? Where does movement or healthcare fit? Who will you see? What gives the day purpose when there is no meeting on the calendar telling you where to be? Be specific. I'll travel more is a wish. Where will you go, with whom, and how often? I'll spend more time with family is a hope. What routines and boundaries would make that time healthy for everyone? Consider service, learning, friendships, creativity, rest, and your health. Think about the parts of work you will miss, not just the parts you are eager to leave. You can run a small experiment with a week of vacation. Live as though you are already retired. Follow the schedule you think you want. Notice what energizes you, what feels lonely, and how quickly unstructured time fills up. Retirement is not one long vacation. It is a new season that needs a rhythm. Put the pieces together and the argument becomes clear. Practice your spending so hidden costs have somewhere to go. Practice your paycheck so an annual projection becomes a monthly experience. Practice your life so your calendar, relationships, health, and sense of purpose receive attention alongside your investments. A rehearsal will not remove every uncertainty. It can do something more useful. It can turn anxiety into questions you can work on. You might discover that you are ready. You might decide to save longer, simplify your cash flow, reconsider a major expense, or have a deeper conversation about healthcare and long-term care. Revisit the exercise as your goals, expenses, health, and family needs change. Here is your practical exercise for this week. Before Friday, create a one-page rehearsal for one upcoming month. Write down your recurring bills, one-time expenses, estimated healthcare and tax costs, and the amount you would want deposited into checking. If you can do so comfortably, place the planned spending amount in a separate savings bucket and follow the schedule you expect to use in retirement. If moving money is not practical, use a spreadsheet or a written tracker instead. Then compare your plan with what you actually spent. Circle the 3 items you guessed at. Those 3 questions are more valuable than pretending you already have perfect certainty. This exercise is not personalized investment, tax, or legal advice, and a short test cannot capture every future condition. It is a starting point for comprehensive planning. Thank you for joining me on the Build Enduring Wealth podcast. If you found today's conversation helpful, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could benefit. To learn more about our approach to retirement planning, wealth management, and biblically responsible investing, visit mrnaadvisory.com/team/Marco-Lima. If you're ready for a thoughtful conversation about your financial future, we'd be honored to help. At MRA Advisory Group, we believe every financial decision is connected. Until next time, keep building enduring wealth. Your future is built one financial decision at a time.